Recording now. Yay, I'm recording. Okay, let's run this app and see if it works. Can I borrow a charger from someone? Sorry. Levi, it's fine. I won't borrow from you. Oh, that's a great app. It looks wonderful. Okay. What do we want to do next? Make some views. Cool. All right, this is going to be our main view controller. Let's go look at the requirements. This main view controller. What should we have in here?
Collection view.
We would need a collection view. Views. What else do we need in here?
Some way to navigate between the two, so maybe a navigation or a tab bar. Or at least we should think about something like that.
Some kind of navigation. Cool.
And use a header.
A header?
Something that has the person's name.
Navigation. Bar. Title. Show. Name. Cool. Sorry? Yeah. A button. I'm going to say that's going to be a button in the nav bar. Just for fun. Okay. Sounds good. I'm going to create a repo. Actually, I think we're in a repo. Cool. Let's just commit our changes so we know what's going on. Git init, git add dot, git commit, set root view controller, and comment in requirements, project requirements. Neat. All right, let's start making our views. Kevin, when we create a view in our view controller programmatically, like, what are the two important things rather than just calling it view is equal to a UI view? What are like two important things we do instead of just declaring views directly like that?
Make it a lazy variable when you add a subview.
Cool. Lazy. Then we're going to say self.view.add subview. Yep. Yep. Dot add. Oh, this is so hard. Self dot my view. Add subview my view. Great. And then what's like the custom trick we've done so that we could set up more in my view than just what its initializers allow us. Rather than just saying this view is equal to a UI view that I initialize without any information. Phoenix, what do you do? Yep. We create a closure that returns a UI view. We have to make sure to call that closure. And so right now, that's a really good question. I guess this was my example, but let's do the right thing here. Thank you. Collection view is going to be a UI collection view. Then here, we can say let collection view equal a UI collection view. Does anyone run into an issue where they initialized a collection view and then it crashed and said something about a layout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to have it in there sense of the UI collection view flow layout.
Yeah. What's that? No, I don't want to use .0. But let's deal with these one at a time. So my collection view needs a layout. Cool. So let's make a layout. Let layout equal UI collection view. Well, just work. Collection view flow layout. All right, how do we initialize one of those? All right, can we just do it emptily? Sounds good. Here's what I'm gonna suggest. If we're gonna need, maybe eventually later, now you know what, let's not do it. Cool, all right, let's see what we can do to layout.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Move forward. You have the lazy bar labeled as collection view, and inside of it, the bottom, yeah, that line.
Yep.
19.
Yep.
We're keeping that?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or is that something else that you
You call it whatever you want, like CV.
Why is this not all lined up? Sorry, my eyes. All right, there we go. So the layout for this collection view, let's just say its direction is going to be, which way do you want it to go? All right, sounds good. So Tia, we looked at this yesterday. How can I make the frame of this thing the size of the entire screen?
I remember that.
Yeah.
It wasn't save area layout guide, it was something else. Like save our content view, that part.
We don't have a content view here, but it's similar, right? We're saying make it as big as the view that that is the main or default view for this entire view controller. Sam, how can I get that size? Trying to make it the whole screen. Cool. Self.view.bound. Starting from the top left for the entire height and width of the default view. Yes?
Will self-that be that frame work?
Yep. For the default view, the bounds in the frame are the same size.
With the navigation bar, if we put it in, will this conflict with that at all?
Probably, yeah. We'll probably have to set some restraints.
If
Some
you didn't want
restraints.
to make it the whole screen, would you just put it like there, or would you do like the flow delegate and put it there?
Do the flow layout delegate. Like change up our layout variable here.
Like what's the best practice? Like if you're saying you didn't want it to be the whole screen, like you just want it to be
Like half the screen.
yes.
I'd probably set it in the frame, but try to do as much of this as I can with constraints rather than the frame.
So then the view constraints are one, there's constraints are one, and with the constant
Yeah. So there's going to be potentially, just thinking about it tomorrow, there's probably going to be a tab bar. And you might need a nav bar. And so there's a way for you to, self.view takes up the entirety of that, but there's a way to get view minus the height of nav bar minus the height of the tab bar to get this space right in here. There will be a tab bar tomorrow. be made for you though, it's okay. Cool. So for now, this is the size of the screen. We could probably change it at some point. Let's see.
If we set it like this and then we set constraints further down somewhere,
Yeah.
those constraints and then just override this, we need to rewrite those.
I'm going to throw that out to the class because I think you've done this before. Ask it once more.
So the constraints that we set on line 19 in the collection view, if we set separate constraints further down in our code and call them, say, somewhere in like view did load, will those constraints that we set and call in view did load override the constraints we have on line 19, or do we need to rewrite what's on 19?
Can I try? I think it depends on what constraints you're writing down for the code. Like if you are talking about like a cell, right? The bound is based off of the cell bound, so no, it shouldn't interfere if you're talking about a label or something like that. The only thing is if you're like duplicating like rewriting the cell bounds again. Like whatever that object is, if you're doing the same thing, then it'll conflict because it doesn't come from the problem.
In the case of the collection view, then if we wrote like a constricting constraint further down and change the size of it, would that mean we need to change 19 or it just overrides that?
It'll-
So,
Or it'll give you an error. It'll
Let-
say, I don't know which one to follow.
Let's try it out. So I'm going to set the background of this to cyan. Is that a bluish color? Cool, thank you. So our closure now returns a collection view, which will initialize this collection view the first time that someone tries to use, access, or change the collection view. So in the view did load, I'm going to add my collection view. Let's see what happens. I hope it works. Cool. So the background of the screen is now cyan. Ian, let's try to do what you were just saying. So change the constraints, even though the frame is the entire screen. Private func, constrain, collection, view, say ns layout constraint dot activate. What's that? Ooh, what's the big wordy thing? Big wordy thing to make sure that, yeah, to make sure that the, what do we call it? The resizing mask doesn't try to set the constraints for us. Very important. So the big wordy thing, dot. Translates auto resizing mask into constraints. False. Cool. So when do we do this? When we are setting constraints? Always. That's right. Leonard, come on. Just come on. You know, it's great. Yeah. Okay. Okay, collection view. Dot. I don't know. How do you make a constraint? Or Leon, a question. Oh. That would be very helpful. I would like to constrain it to the top, bottom, left, and right. Cool. This guy? Yeah. Bottom. Thank you. Sorry. You know I type very slowly. Leading, anchor, leading, anchor, and then trailing anchor, trailing anchor. Before we go any further, we did with a frame here. This is doing the same exact thing. What are we doing with our constraints right here? Tia. Yep. And if you had to describe, like, in terms of this screen, how much of the screen is it taking up? Yep, taking up all of it. What's that? That's right, including the safe area. Oh my God, how do we know which one's working if they both do the same thing? Let's change one thing, okay. So first, just proof of concept. Let's make sure this works. So we've got a frame, and we've also got all of this view constrained to the edges of the screen. Now let's try setting the bottom anchor to the safe area layout guide rather than to the view itself, because the view goes for the entire space of the screen, but there's something called a safe area. How do I find that? Safe area layout guide. Ah.
Let's practice.
Yeah.
Do you do a bottom anchor or do you do a high?
I would give it a bottom and a top anchor, because if you have those constraints that are anchored, then if you need to change where it goes, you'll be talking about like sliding up the bottom or sliding down the top as opposed to resizing the view to some constant. Aaron.
So we're setting the we're pretty much making sure that everything's going to have the same on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing now.
Yes, so instead of having it take up the entire screen, we want to account for this like preset area where they say you could stop, like that's a built-in part of the view where you could stop someone from filling that.
I know we can do it that way, but we just do it like it hits the end.
Like leave it as it is now.
Yeah, so we got like full screen look.
Sure.
And then if you have any issues later on, you know,
Sure. I'm going to keep it this way just because I'm doing this to play with the constraints, not really to talk about like the layout of the view right now, but we can change it back. I just want to get a sense from you all what's going to happen when I set up this constraint in this way on line 40. It needs to crash and burn.
I want to highlight one error.
Michelle, tell me about what's going on there. Oh, that's weird. So I'm talking about this part of my collection view, but this part of the safe layout. All right. All right, let's see if it crashes. It's just gonna be up there. Interesting. What does that mean? Oh, nothing changed. Oh.
Oh, yeah, you didn't call them.
So, Liana, this is kind of the same thing. Yes. But what was the bug? Why didn't this work? I didn't call it. So even before, when we were setting all these constraints, I didn't call it. So it was just taking up the whole screen. Why? So activate, let's look at it this way. It takes an array, and it's just doing this thing called activate, which is setting them all to active. You might have seen just an array where you call it for each on that array and set that thing to active. These do the same thing. It's just an ordered set of constraints being set to active. Yeah. I just like how this one's arranged, but either is good. All right. Damn, this stinks. So the bottom anchor of my collection view is equal to the top anchor of my safe area layout. So that's why that ends up there. I think I want the bottom anchor of my safe area layout guide. Cool, that looks nice. I think I'm going to change the top anchor as well.
So the map is best practice to make it the frame and initializing it, and then we want to change it to
Yep. So the frame got set here when we initialized the collection view, but then afterwards we constrained it and we said, here's the space it's going to take up. So really, ultimately, when we created this collection view, the frame could have been anything. Could have been CV frame, what's it called? Thank you. CV rect dot 0. And that's a rectangle whose origin and sides are both 0. So it's like not even a dot actually. It's just, yeah, it's a 0, 0, 0, 0. So initially it loads something with literally no shape, but then it constrains it. So it doesn't really matter what frame we set in here. The initializer requires you to set a frame. Just the way the initializer works.
So best practice, not zero, or just the whole.
I would say you do you if you're using constraints. It's not really a big deal. Mhm.
This would make sense if you are loading something and your data is coming in
Mm-hmm.
that way placeholder information, that would affect this from happening.
No, it would not. This is purely just how the things that you're seeing load. We could add other things so that maybe you don't even load this until the asynchronous information comes in. But usually those placeholders are there for a reason. Let's take a quick 6-minute break. Sorry, I have to run to the bathroom. Also, I learned a new lesson this week, which is stop the recordings and just do them in parts. Otherwise, I can't upload